After show.
After show.
Thanks for joining us, Comic Fam. It's the after show. Want to talk to you about some things.
We're going to sing this whole time.
The whole time we're going to sing.
Sing
on the whole show. Okay, here we go. We're going to jump into the first one. We alluded to this. I'm going to switch the stories. I want to talk about the first one, the Carnagized stuff, because people are all excited. They're like, wait, what? Carnagized? More characters? I've never heard of this before.
Everyone's getting Carnagized.
What? More characters getting Carnagized? I had no idea that they would do that.
How crazy.
Isn't it a crazy subject? How crazy is that on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, like 1,100.
Right? Like what? Who thought that they would have the balls to do this?
I thought they were just going to be done. I thought Absolute Carnage was over already.
I thought they weren't going to do another Carnage comic book for at least a year.
Right? Just end it halfway through and be like, no, we're done.
Yep, no more characters, no more Carnagize anything.
That's
Why?
right.
Well, you know what? They're going to Carnagize another character. Thanks to Donny Cates, we're getting a new character because of a solicitation that was just dropped. And the solicitation is for Captain Marvel issue number 1. And son of a bitch, they Carnagized Chewie. That's actually the note from the Golden Age Guru. He put that on the notes section because he found this and he said,
thank you, Jeff.
Those exact words. He's like, first appearance of a Carnagized pet, smiley face. And you know what? He's right.
We looked it up. It's the very first time.
I mean, that I know of. I mean, it could be wrong.
We didn't look it up.
I did not look that up. We got to be really careful about that. Watch us be the next biggest character.
That's right.
And they're like on the after show.
Actually, Thor's dog was Carnagized in issue 2 of Absolute Carnage.
What if issue number? Yeah.
Exactly.
I know, but no, for real though. We have on the solicitation, we have Captain Marvel fighting off tentacles, and the tentacles come from her cat, Chewie, who's a Flerken, but the tentacles are Carnagized. So yeah.
He's shooting out like red tentacles out of his mouth.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Which actually made me think of a different comic book cat who shoots red stuff out of his mouth in a not so friendly way.
Who?
I'm thinking of Dexstar.
Who is this?
The coolest Red Lantern. There's Green Lanterns that most people are familiar with, and then there's a whole bunch of other colors. There's Red Lanterns, there's Blue Lanterns.
There's different colors?
It's a colorful rainbow of fun.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who is this character?
There is an organization referred to as the Red Lanterns.
Okay.
They are evil, and one of these Red Lanterns is a cat, a house cat from the planet Earth named Dexstar.
Okay.
And he's adorable and cuddly, and he vomits red acid blood. That's Dexstar.
Okay, and what's his first appearance?
His first appearance was from the one-shot Final Crisis: Rage of the Red Lanterns, which was kind of where all of the Red Lantern stuff first came on the scene.
Okay, so we have Carnagized animals, courtesy of Cates. We have lanterns I didn't even know about.
Dexstar, man, look him up. He's cool.
That's pretty dope, actually. It's getting me interested in reading some Green Lantern. We need to do some content on Green Lantern because you're such a fan.
That'd be fun.
That's right. Maybe get you another tattoo.
Just the same tattoo I already have, but on a different place.
That'd be so dope. You're like, yo, Brian has 5 tattoos. Yeah, they're just the same tattoo.
Just copy paste.
Just the same Green Lantern on different parts of your body.
That would be very lame.
I feel someone has to have done that.
In which case, you're cool.
Yeah.
But as a concept, it's pretty lame.
All right. So let's talk about this next fun subject of the show, because this is something that has been brought up a couple times, and we decided not to talk about it when the news first dropped. And then it happened again, and then it happened again. We have different like famous directors.
It's an ongoing conversation.
Yeah. Like I think it started with Robert Downey responding to it, which really started blowing it up a bit. But what's going on? Because this is a conversation that's been evolving, and it's been over a month, and more people are getting like thrown into it.
I think it started with Martin Scorsese.
True. That's where it all started.
Yeah, who said that Marvel movies weren't all that good.
No, they said they were bad. That they weren't. It wasn't cinema.
I very much love that man and the movies he makes.
One of your favorites.
Yes, Martin Scorsese is like a top 3 director for me.
What are some of the things he's directed?
He has directed Goodfellas. He has directed The Departed. He has directed The Wolf of Wall Street, Casino. There's a bunch of movies this man has made.
Big movies.
Yes, they're pretty awesome.
And he's respected too. So like when he says these kind of things, you know these actors and actresses are actually feeling it.
Yeah. And
this isn't like M. Night saying it.
No, this is a good director. I don't want to say M. Night Shyamalan is not a good director.
He's not a bad director.
He's good. He's got a bad rap, unfortunately. He made some stinkers, but everyone's got some stinkers in that closet. Anyway, Martin Scorsese crapping on Marvel movies. I can't really disagree. I mean, I don't think he should have said that stuff. I don't think he's entirely right. I think these movies have their place. And this is coming from the guy who was just talking smack about the Bloodshot trailer that we just watched. And it's kind of coming from the same place. Like movies, there's two different kinds of movies. There's art house cinema, and then there's fun movies.
Sure.
Which I guess you can pretty safely put most movies into one of those two camps. And I don't think it's entirely accurate or fair to say that one whole subset of movies is not worth it.
Well, he wasn't the only person, because after he went on the mic to say that, or rather tweeting it and getting a lot of people riled up, we had Robert Downey Jr. being asked about this in interviews, and then he had to defend kind of superhero movies in their entirety. And saying, like, of course, they're cinema. I mean, we're acting and we're playing a role. I mean, we're on stage. Like, what do you want from us? Well, then we have someone else very respected doubling down on it.
Yeah, another director who's also pretty famous for making gangster movies, and who actually directed my favorite movie of all time, The Godfather. Francis Ford Coppola came out and called Marvel movies despicable.
Despicable.
Yeah, he's specifically went a little bit beyond what Martin Scorsese had to say.
That's right. And he actually, he didn't just double down. He made sure that his words were known, because he said, here, we're going to quote him here. He says, Martin was kind when he said it's not cinema. He didn't say it's despicable, which I just say it is. That's a quote from Francis Ford Coppola.
And I kind of want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I kind of want to see it from their perspective. And from their perspective, these big budget blockbuster reboot sequel franchise connected universe films are kind of all that Hollywood seems to be making right now. And those are the only movies that seem to really be getting any kind of effort or backing behind them. And the kind of slow drama art house movies that these directors have made in their careers.
That's why it's happening. That's why these people are getting upset.
Yeah, they're
really.
Yeah, there's not a lot of public appetite for those kind of movies, much to my chagrin, because I'm a big fan of heavy dramas.
Yeah,
I can see where they're coming from.
Ryan's a crier.
I love to cry.
He loves to cry by himself, and
it's pathetic.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay.
But no. I mean, he's not. They're not wrong, but they're also being extremely bullheaded, and they shouldn't be making such blanket statements.
Absolutely. Think. And James Gunn actually responded this week, and I have to agree with them. He says that a lot of the great Godfathers have brought their opinions out to the public, and he said that although he understands what they have to say, like during their time when they wrote these big movies that we now look at as some of the biggest movies of our generation and past generations, that at the time when they were created, they weren't respected in this very same way that they're not respecting superhero movies.
And James Gunn brings up a good point about how movies kind of go in waves. Like how in the 30s and back in the day, there were a lot of gangster movies, and those were viewed as kind of popcorn cinema and not very artsy. And a few of those movies kind of rose up and became classics over time. And then you get into like the 50s and 60s when everybody was making Westerns. There were Westerns everywhere. And most of them were fair to middling. And, there were a few that rose up and became all-time classics. Right. After that, we got into like the sci-fi craze with Star Wars and all that stuff throughout the late 60s and the 70s. Things just kind of go in waves. And right now we happen to be in the middle of a very big superhero phase, if you want to call it that.
James Gunn says some superhero films are awful. Some are beautiful, like Westerns and gangster movies, and before that, just movies. Not everyone will be able to appreciate them, even some geniuses. And that's okay. Heart emoji. And I think that's well put. We'll leave you with this today, comic fam, because as a Hellboy collector, I got excited with all of this key collector alert news and conversation about Hellboy appearances, and getting excited, having to polish my Hellboy knowledge because I haven't looked into it a lot. I sold a lot of my Hellboy memorabilia when I first started the show, paying for cameras, things like that. So I let go a lot of pieces, but there are a couple pieces that I still have, and a couple of them are I would put on par with like these real first appearances, like ones that, when we're talking about what are like the 10, the 7 items that came out around the time that Hellboy was first published. What are those collector pieces? And we went through a couple of them already. Well, I want to chat with you about a couple more that you may not know about. So the first one, but sitting behind Ryan right now, and it's okay. This is in the after show because it's been on camera since we've had this set. We have a Hellboy poster behind Ryan's head. That Hellboy poster features Big Red. He is red and he's in a trench coat. This came out in 1993, and I date this prior to San Diego Comic-Con issue number 2. The reason why that this is said to have come out prior to that short Hellboy story, looked at as the first full appearance of Hellboy, because he's in a story and he's in a trench coat, is because it has been said that this is the first time Hellboy was drawn in a trench coat, which predates it from that August appearance. So super scarce. It's the first Hellboy poster. A lot of them are tattered. Posters are tough to collect because people typically put them up with pins so they get holes in them, or the edges are cut off because they put tape and they rip the tape off, or the back is littered with debris because people like to roll tape or glue and do things of that nature. Heck, I still think you should be able to glue your poster to your wall, but what do I know? Okay, so you have this red Hellboy poster. It's early. It predates San Diego Comic-Con. I haven't been able to confirm this by publication date because, good luck finding a random item the month that it came out. However, I have been told by Mignola, and I have it on record from someone who knows the owner of the original Hellboy poster piece, like the original art, that it is the first Hellboy trench coat, and someone who paid a lot of money for that piece because he was able to validate that. So that gives some reason to believe that that is accurate. Maybe we'll find out some more information validating that. But I have another piece that I'm going to show, and I'm actually going to post this on Instagram. So do us a favor, Comic Fam. I would love to know who listened to this portion of the show, because I'm going to post this closer to the release date of this show on Sunday. And yeah, if you heard this portion of the podcast, please maybe comment on the Instagram post over at ComicTom101. But Ryan, take a look at this. This is a trading card. Can you describe that?
It is a black and white photo or drawing of Hellboy with some creepy tentacles on the foreground, and the background is this nice sparkly red.
That's right. And flip it over, and what does it say?
What does it say? Mike Mignola, Hellboy, Fredonia Funnyworks, Orange, California. And it's got the phone number of this place. It's the 10th anniversary, 1982 to 1992.
That's right. So this was a 10th anniversary, and it was a collection of playing cards. They only made 1,100 of them, and it was encompassing the 10 years from 1982 to 1992. Apparently, they sourced all of these drawings to make these cards so that they could be released in early 1993. On the card, it actually says 1993. And when presented to Mignola, which if you flip it over, I have him signed it, because at the time I asked him, hey, Mignola, do you know anything about this card? He looked at it, he scoffed and goes, ha, no one knows about this. And he looks at me and says, this is the first appearance of Hellboy. This predates everything. Now, I do not have an official date that I found on the internet to validate that release date. What I do know is that Mignola looks at this as the earliest published Hellboy that he drew, that was published in mass, that predates Dime Press, sure as hell predates X-Men 14. However, it's a card. It's OG number 9 in the series, but it is Hellboy, and it's big red. It's on a red foil, and it's low print. So anyways, this is, although dated 1993, likely drawn before then and likely published before then, if we go by what Mignola says, which, you know what? We've had many podcasts where we have discussed even artists and writers' own inaccuracies on publication dates and when these types of things were released, because they didn't care about that stuff when they were coming out. They were just pumping out work, doing their job, especially in the early stages when this stuff was prototype, and they were probably doing this on the side for side hustle.
Yeah, and their minds are on the stories and the art, and it's on us to sort out all the important collecting data.
Yeah, so again, I'm going to post this on Instagram over the next couple days. And if you heard this part of the podcast, would appreciate if you left a comment over there. Just like let us know who's on Instagram, who's enjoying our audio
See
version.
what kind of crossover appeal we have. How many people have Instagram who also listen to the audio portion?
That's right.
And who also feel like commenting on the Instagram post. See how that goes.
We appreciate you. Thanks for being with us today. We'll talk to you very soon. Have a great weekend.
Bye.